Okay, good evening, everyone. So please look into your syllabus, friends. So in this particular class, I will explain you A to Z how to read every single point. I will explain you how to read. Harish, please mute yourself. So please, every one of you, pay attention and try to understand me what exactly I'm speaking. So if you look into our JL and DL syllabus, we are having total of 10 units: general concepts, non-card data, card data, then cell biology, genetics, system and cell physiology, then evolution, developmental biology, histology, ecology, and immunology. So friends, how many number of questions will come from each chapter? You know that we are having in the core paper, we are having 150 questions, is it? So in this particular 150 questions, friends, try to understand from all the 11 units. Please mute your mics. Please mute your mics. Harish, please mute your mic. Harish. Harish, please mute your mic. Otherwise, I'll remove it immediately. Okay. So what I'm trying to say, there are 150 questions will come, right? So what I want you people to remember here is that from every chapter, there is a chance that 10 to 14 questions will come from every single chapter. Harish, mute your mic. Don't miss it. Mute your mic. Okay. So just give me one moment of time. Okay. So now, all of you listen to me very carefully. 1 second. Okay, now listen. So let me explain to all of you how to study every chapter. Okay, in our entire zoology syllabus, which is the biggest chapter in our entire zoology syllabus, the biggest chapter is the human physiology. Why I am saying the human physiology is the biggest chapter? Because friends, you only look into this. Here we are covering the entire physiology part also. Apart from the physiology part, they have added little bit about the biochemistry syllabus also. You can see, right? They have added the biomolecules, that is the classification of the carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids also. At the same time, they have added very important one: glycolysis, Krebs cycle, electron transport chain, PPP pathway, and gluconeogenesis. So friends, I can tell to all of you, among all the units of your zoology syllabus, from this particular unit only, you can expect the more number of questions. So now I will explain to all of you point by point, step by step, how to read it. Just be patient and listen to me correctly. So what are the chapters are there? Blood circulation. See here, friends, here it is 2 chapters they have given, which means cardiovascular system they have given as a separate small subunit, and only the blood circulation, blood and circulation has given the separate unit. Respiratory, nervous, muscle, sense organ, excretory, osmoregulation, digestive, endocrinology. So now I will explain to all of you which is the most important to the, of course, there is no doubt you people has to read every unit, but I will explain you from the most important to the least priority. So all the students, whenever you are doing the preparation or whenever you are reading, always start from the endocrine system. Why I am saying please start read the human physiology from the endocrine system only? The reason is that, friends, endocrine system, see, I told you just now 10 to 14 questions you can expect. So blindly believe in my words. Out of 10 to 14 questions in the human physiology, nearly 2 to 3 questions will appear from the endocrine system only. That much important chapter endocrine system is. So friends, what you have to actually read in the endocrine system. Now listen, all of you. Whenever you started reading the endocrine system, just focus what I'm talking exactly. First, you have to understand name of the hormone. Listen, from which endocrine gland it is released. Remember, name of the hormone, from which endocrine gland it is released, function, regulation, and is there any precursor is involved in the biosynthesis of that particular hormone, then finally friends, diseases. So what you have to remember, once again, all the students listen: name of the hormone, from which endocrine gland it is getting released, what is their major function. Most of the students never read the regulation. You have to read the regulations compulsory, and from which precursors they are involved. What do you mean by the word precursor? Suppose example, you take histamine. If you take the histamine, histamine is actually derived from what? Histidine. So you have to remember which hormone is derived from the which amino acid precursor and with respect to the disease. Not to get confused with that. Very easy. While reading, keep the PPT with you and start preparing for it. So first, listen every one of you completely. When you are start reading the hormones, first understand classification of the hormones. Some hormones are called phenolic hormone. Some hormones are called proteinaceous hormone. Some hormones are called steroidal hormone. Some hormones are called glycoprotein hormone. They can ask you a direct question in the exam. Which of the following are proteinaceous in nature? You know very well, insulin, glucagon, secretin, relaxin, these are all what? Protein hormone. They can ask you which of the following hormones are steroidal hormones. What do you mean by the word steroidal hormones, friends? Which can cross the plasma membrane very easily, and which contain cholesterol as their backbone. So listen, every one of you, you have to remember all those. Most of the students will forget one important point. What is that? They can also ask a question: which technique can be used? Very good question it is. Which technique can be used to measure the complete concentration of the hormone in the body? Means how much concentration hormone has to be present in the body. According to the definition, every hormone should be present in the low concentration only. Correct or not? So friends, listen. So you have to remember the technique named as RIA, radioimmunoassay. This is the one which actually measure the total hormone concentration. So how to read the material? First, read the classification of the hormone. Then see here, for your better understanding, what we have done, we have kept all the hormones and from which gland they are releasing. Most important for the exam. Okay, most important for the exam. Please, madam, I am Renuka. Please continue. I am explaining how to read the study material. So, chemical class. Then, most important effect. You can expect the same question in the exam also. Okay, and I am telling you, not even one question also. I am telling you. For zoology, I will give you the guarantee that out of 150, you can expect 145 questions from here only. So that's what make use of make a complete use of the PPT and read from A to Z. So next, see here, and every PPT or every PDF majorly focus on the table, because tabulated information will reduce your time and you can learn most of the information. And I want most of the students will miss the regulation. So that's why I have kept how every single hormone is getting regulated, because regulatory pathways are very important for the exam. So first, what you have to read? Classification of the hormone, then the information, the overview of the hormones, means especially their chemical class and their effect caused by it. So now you have to start always with the pituitary gland. See here, what we have done. Every student commonly know that pituitary gland contain anterior pituitary, posterior pituitary. You know that posterior pituitary only stores and release only two hormones, oxytocin and vasopressin. Major is what? Anterior pituitary. So what we have done, whatever the cell that are present in the anterior pituitary gland, what hormone they are releasing, what is their function, and from which gland they are getting released. See, I'm telling you, in entire endocrine system, I am requesting every student to follow the information present in the table, which is 2000% sufficient. No need to touch anything. So posterior pituitary, there are only two hormones, vasopressin, oxytocin. What you have to remember? Their function, regulation, precursor, then followed by the disease related to it. Nothing else to read. So that ends the pituitary gland. After that, start the thyroid gland. So majorly focus on T3 and T4. How these two hormones are releasing, what is the precursor involved in this particular hormone? Listen everyone, After the precursor, I want you to understand the regulation of the T3 and T4. What is the role of the T3 and T4 in the BMR, basal metabolic rate? That I want you to understand completely. Then most of the time the questions will come from the thyroid gland with respect to the diseases. So requesting all of you read all the diseases with respect to the T3 and T4. Never ever miss it. After thyroid gland, read the parathyroid. Every student listen, parathyroid plays a crucial role in the homeostasis of the calcium. So you have to understand what is the role of the parathyroid in the homeostasis of the calcium. I mean to say, when the parathyroid will it release when there is a more calcium, or will it release when there is a low calcium? In that way, you have to read. Then once again, the disorders. Please don't miss disorders. When you are reading the adrenal gland, you know that adrenal gland contain cortex, medulla. Cortex contain once again 3 zones. Correct, na? So in the 3 zones, we can call zona glomerulosa, zona fasciculata, and androgens. So you have to remember what hormones are coming from the zona glomerulosa, what hormones are coming from the fasciculata, what hormones are coming from the androgens. So you have to remember all their regulation. Similarly with the adrenal medulla. And remember, adrenal medulla is connected to the which nervous system? It is always connected to the sympathetic ganglion. Adrenal medulla is the area where the most important hormone in the body, that is the adrenaline, is getting released. So hormone, their function, regulation, followed by the diseases. No need to read anything else. For every hormone, I have explained all the diseases very briefly, very elaboratively. If you read that, it's more than sufficient. Later, so what glands we have studied? Tell me. We studied first pituitary, we studied thyroid, we studied parathyroid, we understand adrenaline. After pancreas. Pancreas contain what? Alpha cell, beta cell, gamma cell. What alpha cell secrete, what beta cell secrete, what gamma cell secrete? You know, right? Suppose alpha secrete glucagon, beta secrete insulin, gamma secrete somatostatin. You know very well, insulin act opposite to the glucagon and somatostatin. Somatostatin act opposite to the insulin and glucagon. So you have to remember for the exam, which 2 hormones are showing the antagonistic in nature and what is their function. I want you to remember compulsory. Then followed by the diseases related to the pancreatic gland. Then very important one, pineal gland. Pineal gland as well as the thymus, you are going to read in the immunology also. You can easily remember. And friends, one question compulsory, they will ask from the sex organs. So that's why I want you to read what hormones released from the placenta, testis, corpus luteum, ovarian follicle. Many times asked questions in the exam are estrogen, progesterone, human chorionic gonadotropic hormone, HCG, HPL, human placental lactogen, which is responsible for the mammary gland growth. I want you to remember relaxin. These 5 hormones are widely asked in the exam with respect to the sex organs and their hormones, and followed by the diseases. This is what you have to remember in the endocrine system. Mechanism of action, everything I will explain you in the what we can say that in the PPT itself. So friends, after that you are having 3 exercises. Exercise 1 is easy, exercise 2 is moderate, exercise 3 is the difficult exercise. I have covered more than 400 to 500 questions from here itself, which include Telugu Academy based questions also, as well as the NCERT based level questions also. Apart from this 400 to 500 questions, in the YouTube, I will solve another 100 to 150 questions from every system in the human physiology. And most importantly, in chapter wise test also, you will write more than 150 questions. As a result, friends, from every chapter, you can easily solve more than 600 to 700 questions from every single chapter. And that is extremely higher. You don't need to focus too much on that. After studying the endocrine system, next, what system you have to read? So look into the concept, breathing and exchange of gases. You tell me, what kind of disease, sorry, what kind of questions you can get from the breathing and exchange of gases. Do you think you'll get any question from the anatomy, that is from nose, pharynx, larynx, trachea? From there you will get any kind of a question? No, friends, we don't get any kind of a question from there. From where we will expect the question? From physiology part. So you have to start from lungs. Lungs structure also you have to read compulsory, friends. How many lobes are present, how many fissures are present. Most important for the exam, mechanism of respiration, that is called internal respiration, external respiration, and very important is breathing patterns. Every time they will ask the question from the breathing patterns. I will show you inspiratory reserve volume, expiratory reserve volume, residual volume, lung capacity, tidal volume, all this. Then apart from that, the very important one, oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve, where you can expect the graphical questions. If you are not getting the questions from here, then undoubtedly, friends, you are going to get the questions from diseases. So when you are reading the respiration, understand the differences between aerobic and anaerobic. No need to focus on the what we can call the anatomy part. So majorly start focusing from the lungs. From the lungs, you pay much attention for the lungs. Means what kind of lobes and lobules are present? What is the mechanism of inspiration, mechanism of expiration? What happens during the inspiration? During the inspiration, diaphragm and intercostal muscles will get contracted. During the expiration, diaphragm and intercostal muscles will get relaxed. So the mechanism you have to understand compulsory. And friends, as I told you, this is the most important for the exam, where you can expect the matching questions or you can expect the statement related questions also. All volumes. While I'm explaining you the lesson, you will feel very easy. We will study very depth. Tidal volume, IRV, ERV, residual volume, inspiratory capacity, FRC, vital capacity, total lung capacity. There are total 12 are there. I will provide remaining in the PPT itself. So you have to learn all, friends. After that, what is the most important? I told you, friends, oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve. This is very important, friends. They can ask you very simple questions. What happens if the temperature increases? What happens to the oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve? What happens if the temperature decreases? Whether the curve shift right or left? What happens if the concentration of carbon dioxide is more? When I'm explaining you the lesson, obviously you feel very easy. From there, you can expect the questions. And the last and final, what did I told you, friends? Diseases. Diseases are also important. Respiratory system seems to be very easy, friends, but trust me, very logical type of questions can be asked from the respiratory system. Then the next one, neural control and coordination. Friends, from the neural control, see, because human physiology is a very big unit in your entire syllabus, this only will take a lot of time to us. Remaining all chapters we can finish very faster. Now, when you are reading the nervous system, which is the most important in the nervous system, first thing, a very important in the nervous system is neurotransmitters. For our JL and DL, I'm talking about. So what neurotransmitter, which amino acid precursor, from where they are releasing, what is their function? Then the second very important one, action potential and membrane potential. I mean to say resting membrane potential, action potential. From there you can expect the graphical questions also. Then once again, disease related questions are also you are going to get. Then very important one, friends, structure of the neuron, because from the structure of the neuron, types of the neuron, most of the students, they will only read the neuron. They don't read the neuroglia. Neuroglia is more important when compared to the neurons. So these things you people has to focus. Anyway, when I am explaining it will become easy to all of you. Types of neuron, unipolar, bipolar, multipolar, you have to read where they are present. They can ask a very simple question. In which of the following neuron is present in the rod and cone cells of the retina? Which is the bipolar? Which kind of neurons are very common in the embryo, nervous system of the embryo, which is the unipolar neuron? This kind of questions can be asked. And what I am telling you, friends, resting membrane potential, action potential. In the PPT, I will explain you extremely depth to all of you. By that, you will get a very good question, very good knowledge. Here, friends, you are going to get only logical questions. I mean to say, you are going to get purely conceptual questions, pure concept. If you know the concept, friends, you can answer the question very, very, very easily. And I am telling about the JL and DL people. See, if you are preparing for the TGT and PGT, I encourage all of you to remember the structure of the brain, parts of the brain also. But for the JL and DL, there is no point of remembering entire brain structure. It is not greatly important for us. You majorly focus on the neurotransmitter, resting membrane, action potential. These are all important, friends, for our exam. Then I want you to read all kinds of the neurons and all kinds of the, what we can say, all kind of the skeletal system muscles also, as well as their functions also. Means suppose olfactory, they are involved in which function? Abundance involved in which function? Vagus, which is involved in which function? Hypoglossal, which are involved in which function? So they are also extremely important for the exam. So in the nervous system, once again, I'm telling you, focus on neurotransmitter, focus on resting membrane and action potential, then focus on the diseases. Don't focus much on the anatomy part. After that, a very, very, very important is the reflex action. From here also you are going to get the question. So in the reflex action, they can ask the question differences between the unconditional and conditional reflex, which neurons are involved in the conditional and unconditional. But friends, apart from the nervous system, it is very important you people has to focus on the eye, skin, ear. Compulsory, I want you to focus. Trust me, from eye and ear only, friends, you can expect more than 4 to 5 questions from eye and ear only. Not to you can leave other organelles like a skin, testes, ovary, but don't leave eye, ear, kidney, liver. Don't leave these 4 organelles. In the histology part I am talking about, you can leave the intestine, you can leave the skin also, but don't leave these 4 organelles. I want you to read complete structure, complete anatomy, complete physiology. When I am explaining you, I will explain you very depth of all. You can read that. So this is what you have to read in the this chapter, neural control and coordination. Along with that, you have to practice 300 questions. Trust me, if you don't practice the questions, there is no point of learning the lesson. But I'm telling you once again, my lesson is important. After that only anything, okay? Because if you get the concept, you can answer any kind of a question. You can solve any kind of a question. You can understand any kind of a question. But if you start by hearting the only study material, it's a waste of time. Excretory products, what you get? Here in the excretion I am talking, friends, you have to study compulsory anatomy also. Anatomy of the nephron you have to study. Compulsory, friends. We have to study complete PCT, DCT, and collecting duct. You have to read compulsory. Okay. And what kind of question you can get in the exam? In which of the following parts of the nephron most of the water is getting reabsorbed? Where the sodium is getting reabsorbed, potassium, bicarbonate, chlorine, all are getting reabsorbed. Very good question. In which part hormonal control is required? That is also very, very important. What is the role of the antidiuretic hormone? You have to read all those without fail, especially the complete anatomic structure of this particular, what we can say, that nephron. And friends, 90% you can expect the question from these definitions also. In the exam, what they do, they'll give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 animals or fishes, what we can say, that cartilaginous fish, amphibian, mammals. They will ask which is ammonotelic, which is ureotelic, which is the uricotelic. So for when you are reading all these, I encourage all of you at least try to remember 2 to 4 examples without fail. 2 to 4. That's very important. You have to remember. Otherwise, it's very difficult. It is okay, because here you have to remember a lot of information. Most of the time, friends, undoubtedly you are going to get the matching question. As I told you, friends, you should not leave anything with respect to the structure of the kidney. I will explain you briefly. Don't worry. Renal cortex, renal medulla, what is the function of this renal papillae, what is the function of urinoferous tubules, what is the function of the renal pelvis. Then a very important, you know, right, there are two type of nephrons are there: cortical nephrons, medullary nephrons. Where the nephrons are present more, what are the functions of cortical nephrons, what are the functions of the medullary nephron. And as I already told you, you have to read complete structure of the nephron. Bowman's capsule, what does it contain? Then what is the function of PCT, function of loop of Henle, function of distal convoluted tubule, as well as the collecting duct system, which is completely important. Then here, the most important one, mechanism of urine formation. Here, what kind of questions you can get, friends? Here you can get the question from the hormonal regulation, right? That is the counter current mechanism. This is also very important for the exam. We have to read them compulsory. Then followed by the diseases, which are very common. See, right now I'm just explaining you how to study. When I explain you the lesson, it will become super easy to all of you. Keep the PPT with you and read each and everything. Again, you people has to solve 300 questions from here. You don't feel any stress. Whenever I taught you a lesson, on the same day you read it, then you don't feel any kind of a confusion over there. Friends, apart from the physiology, what is there in the syllabus which they have specially mentioned? In the syllabus, they have specially mentioned the biomolecules. You can see, right? They have written that outline classification of carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids. So, which is a very important. Trust me, you can easily get 2 to 3 questions from here. And whatever the material I am giving you, from apart from this, even not even a one question also won't go. So just focus on the complete classification of the carbohydrates. And you know, when you are reading the biomolecules, friends, in the entire PDF, only read the tables, because in the PPT I will explain you very elaboratively. So you focus on the table. Suppose example, when you are reading the carbohydrates, majorly you people has to focus on the what are reducing sugar, what are non-reducing sugar, most importantly, which are isomers, which are anomers, which are amino sugar. And when it comes to the disaccharide, the most important for the exam is linkages. What is the linkage between the maltose, linkage between the lactose, linkage between the sucrose? Same with the polysaccharide. Many polysaccharides you have to read. Don't read 1 or 2 polysaccharide. You have to read the cellulose, you have to read the starch, you have to read the inulin, you have to read the chitin, you have to read the glycogen, you have to read the mucopolysaccharide, you have to read the chondroitin sulfite. I will explain in the lesson, don't worry. All polysaccharide with linkages. That's all. Where lipid comes, lipid is a very different type of a biomolecule, because it is not polymer, right? So when you start reading the lipids, most important for the exam, differences between saturated and unsaturated, very important. At least 3 to 4 examples of saturated fatty acid, 3 to 4 examples of unsaturated fatty acid, with respect to the structure. In the JL and DL, suppose they'll give the arachidonic acid. They don't tell whether it is arachidonic acid or not. They will give the structure. They will ask how many number of double bonds are present. How many number of double bonds are present in the arachidonic acid. That's why, friends, you have to compulsory remember the few examples of saturated and unsaturated along with the structure. When I am explaining you the lesson, I will explain you which examples also you have to remember. Compared to the carbohydrates and lipid, the most important biomolecules are amino acids and protein. It is very important. Being a zoology student, when you're reading the biochemistry, it is very important. You have to remember 20 amino acids. Structure, I told you in the biochemistry also to all of you. 20 amino acid structure, functions, 3-letter codons, 1-letter codon, compulsory. Classification is the utmost important. I will explain you briefly, don't worry. Then proteins. primary structure, secondary structure, tertiary structure, quaternary structure. So which forces are involved in the tertiary structure? In which structure disulfide linkages are involved? In which structure hydrogen bonding is involved? In which structure salt bridges are involved? So those things we have to study it in the has to be studied in the proteins. I will explain you when we are discussing it, but I'm telling you how to read. Then friends, we are also having cellular respiration. For the old people, I have explained you many number of times. Okay. Many number of times I have explained it with the biochemistry. You have to read complete glycolysis, its regulation, complete Krebs cycle and its regulation. Then friends, and you have to read complete, oh, what happened? Screen sharing is past. Why? Okay. Yeah. What I'm trying to tell you. Can you see the screen, everyone? Everyone, can you see the screen? Quickly, quickly. Can you see the cellular respiration, right? Okay, okay, okay. Please continue, please continue, please continue. So in the cellular respiration, listen all the students. Glycolysis and its regulation, Krebs cycle and its regulation, electron transport chain, and the inhibitors of electron transport chain, and the shuttle systems. I will explain the lesson very properly. You can answer any kind of a question from that particular unit. So why we have discussed only the first unit is human physiology. This is the biggest unit in your entire syllabus. After that, let's talk about the evolution. See friends, let me tell you one advantage to you. What is the advantage? If you look into the syllabus of the evolution very correctly, you know, they have not mentioned the syllabus completely. See what they have written in the syllabus copy: origin of life. And they said that the theory and evidence of the organic evolution and modern synthetic theory. It seems to be very easy, the single line, but you know how much you have to read? You have to read all the theories of evolution, right? Oparin Haldane experiment, Miller experiment, special creation theory, all you have to read. Not only theories of evolution, you have to understand Lamarckism, you have to understand the Darwinism, that is also very important. Then directly they went to population genetics. Population genetics means what? You have to read Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, allelic frequency, gene frequency, which is extremely important for the numerical part. But friends, if you just read according to your syllabus copy, that is not at all sufficient. Evolution is a very big, friends. So you have to start reading with the experiments of the Oparin, Haldane, Miller experiments. Then evidences of the evolution. Many times where you can expect the question is, friends, many times they can give which of the following are the examples of homologous organ, which of the following are the examples of the analogous organ. In the plant also, in the animal also, you have to remember them compulsory for the exam, right? And very specially they have mentioned in the syllabus copy paleontological evidence with respect to the human being. They said that human evolution, but if you want to read the human evolution, first you have to read the entire geological time scale. When you are reading the geological time scale, they can ask a very direct question, friends. An example, which is the golden era of the dinosaurs? Example, Jurassic. Which is the golden era of the amphibians? Means which of the following phase amphibians are dominant? Which is the Devonian? So they can ask a very simple question: in which of the following periods angiosperms were appeared? Which is the Cretaceous? So you have to read the geological timescale very elaborately. I will explain you very thoroughly, don't worry. So we have to study Lamarckism and Darwinism. These two are very important, friends. Theories are always important. So in the evolution chapter, if you get a very tough question, friends, you are going to get the tough question from the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium only, mostly numerical type. If not numerical type, statement related. But in our JL and DL, I can say that you get the numerical question also, you get the theoretical question also from the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. So you have to read factors affecting. We have to prove every factor with the help of a numerical. Every factor we have to prove with the help of a numerical, then it's very easy to understand. I will explain, don't worry at all. And many times, many times, the graphical questions will come, especially from the stabilizing, directional, disruptive selection. I will tell you, friends, in the NEET and AIMS level, this is one of the most common question they use to ask the students to make it confused. Very critical thinking question they will give here. So I want you to read these concepts compulsory. You might read or not, I don't know, but you have to read this. And we have given the directly evolution of human. In the zoology, this much is not required, friends. But when I'm teaching the lesson, whatever the information there in the classes, read the same information here. And then followed by the modern synthetic theory of evolution, including the human evolution. This is only the syllabus in the evolution topic. It's a very small syllabus, but you have to read very depth. It seems to be, they're just summarized in a few lines. But if you look into this only subtopic 1, it is the very biggest one. And apart from this, I have mentioned one table at the end. Total geographical realms of the world, I have mentioned in the form of a table. These are all the things which you have to remember and by heart. Right. Then if you look into the developmental biology, see friends, I will tell you in a simple line to all of you. What is actually developmental biology? Tell me. Starting from the gametogenesis. What do you mean by that? Starting from gamete formation. What are the gametes? Sperm, egg. From the gamete formation, how the gametes are fused, which means fertilization. How the zygote will be divided, which we can call cleavage. After the cleavage, we get blastula. How we get the 3 germ layers, we can call gastrulation. So what I'm trying to explain you, starting from gamete formation till the formation of a 3 germ layers, ectoderm, endoderm, mesoderm. How all these are happening in the different organisms by taking them as a models. That is what developmental biology. Here they mentioned very small 5 points, that's all. But you know how big it is? Very big it is. It's not about the big, I can say. It's about reading very depth. Okay. For this chapter, friends, developmental biology, I'm telling you, along with the PPT, I want you to, utilize lessons most importantly, because in the lessons, whatever I'm speaking, those are most important. Okay. So how to read the study material for this particular developmental biology? It is also very easy. You don't need to take too much of stress. I will tell you. Don't focus on the human reproduction part. It's not required, but I just kept it in the human physiology. They may ask, but in our syllabus, they did not ask. So from where you have to start, friends, you have to start from the gametogenesis. Very important, friends. Very important it is. How exactly the sperm is getting formed, how exactly the worm is getting formed. And whenever you are reading the sperm, the most important topic for the exam is called as a capsitation. How the capsitation occur, where the capsitation occur, why the capsitation occur, what happens after the capsitation, which enzymes are involved in the capsitation. All you have to read. And when you are reading this particular egg, especially focus on the hormones involved, especially for the exam. All the hormones, estrogen, progesterone, then what we can say that follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, gonadotropin releasing hormone. They are extremely important for the exam, right? Then you just check your question paper of previous also. Undoubtedly, you are going to get the question from cleavage. That is X, alecythal egg, microlecythal egg, mesolecythal egg, megalecythal egg, and what is called holoblastic cleavage, what is called meroblastic cleavage, where the complete cleavage occur, where the incomplete cleavage occur, which is extremely important, friends. Then gastrulation, that is formation of the 3 germ layers. I don't know whether if any one of you given the TSET Life Sciences of 2022 paper, this is the direct question we got. The function of chorion, the function of the allantois, the function of the amnion, the function of the extra embryonic coelom. So they have given in the developmental biology, they have just given 3 questions in the set exam. This is one of the question asked. Very, very easy questions only you will get, but I will teach elaboratively. The information present in the study material is 100% sufficient. But what is more important, in the lesson, I will cover most of the examples. So those examples are important. So along with the lesson, if you read the PPT, it is more than sufficient for the developmental biology. Once again, I'm telling you, no need to touch anything. If you strictly follow it, you will get 145 questions easily. Then immunology. So friends, what we have to read in the topic of immunology, I have already told you that in the chapter of immunology, they have very specifically mentioned in our syllabus. Immunology is easy, easy in the sense they mentioned very clearly without confusion. So first, you have to start with all the cells of immunity. And trust my words, immunology, what is key is the remembering many terms, many chemicals, like example, interleukins, type of interleukin, suppose prostaglandin, chemokines, C-reactive proteins. Remembering most of the examples is the key here, not to get confused with that. So you have to read types of immunity, the differences between the innate and adaptive immunity, and in our syllabus very clearly mentioned, right? Physical barrier, cellular barrier, physiological barrier, inflammatory barrier, which are specifically mentioned in the syllabus. Then what we have to read? Then we have to read specifically mentioned in the syllabus, primary lymphoid organ, secondary lymphoid organ. At the same time, you should also focus majorly. Here it is very less, but we have to read more. Development of a B lymphocyte, development of the T lymphocyte, receptors with respect to the B lymphocyte, receptor with respect to the T lymphocyte. All we have to read without fail, very, very depth, friends. Then followed by antigen, epitope, hapten, we already discussed. Type of antibody and different type of antibodies along with their functions. You look your question paper, undoubtedly you are going to get the question from the antibodies, undoubtedly. Immunology, the luck is you get a little difficult question, but you can crack it easily with a good practice. Then we are left with, we have to see, no, we have to focus on the hypersensitivity and autoimmune diseases. Immunology portion is small, but the questions are very logical type of questions we can expect in our exam. Once I am teaching the lesson, it will become very, very easy to you. Now see, friends, zoology people also has to read the ecology. This I will explain to all of you along with the botany people in the class, right? Ecology is also very important. You have to understand. Being a zoology student also, you have to read carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle, phosphorus cycle, food chains, food pyramids, food web, all the trophic level, different type of ecosystem, and all the interactions. From the interactions, at least we can get the 2 questions. Ecological succession, which is widely asked in the T-set also. Then all type of pollution. See here, this is little tough for the zoology people because you have to remember a lot of the information. Information from the national park, biogeographical zones of India, hotspots of India. These are also you people has to remember. When I am explaining to the botany people, then I will tell you what has to read exactly there. Then cell biology, I have explained you in the 5 p.m. class. Now, friends, if you look into the non-car data, and general concepts. Friends, general concepts, what kind of questions you are going to get? Let me tell you, you are going to get at least 2 to 3 questions, 2 to 3 from biological nomenclature, classical method of taxonomy. In the general concept, where you are going to expect more number of questions. Friends, more number of questions you are going to expect from the tissues. So what kind of tissues has to be studied? So listen to me very correctly. So when you are reading the tissues, I want you to focus on the epithelial. Remember everyone. Then followed by the new nervous tissue, then followed by the connective tissue. Very important among all, that is the muscle. Muscle is more important. They use it to ask in the exam. So these 4 tissues I want you to focus. epithelial, then followed by the connective, muscular, nervous tissue. I will explain you very briefly. 99.99%, there are only two ways of asking question. What is that two ways? One is from the structural parameters. Second is from the example, where epithelial tissues are present and their composition, their structural parameter. The material will be extremely useful to you and very simply written. You can easily understand. So simple epithelium, compound epithelium. Then among all, one of the most important is connective. When you are reading the connective, majorly focus on the blood. So here you have to focus, because in the immunology we are not focusing. We are not focusing much on the neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils. In the blood circulation we will read, but here also we have to read very briefly and very elaboratively. Okay. Then followed by the nervous tissue. Anyway, nervous tissue we are studying there also. Apart from the nervous tissue, focus on the bone and cartilage. In the previous 2015-16 JL and DL question paper, most of the questions coming from the bone and cartilage only. Right. So anyway, there is no way of skipping any kind of a tissue. We have to study every single tissue, including the muscle. There is no doubt you are going to get the question from the muscle tissue. Undoubtedly you are going to get, especially from the banding patterns. No doubt about it, you are going to get the question here. In involuntary muscle, what kind of bands are present? What are sarcomere? What are cross bridges? Question you will get it compulsory. When I am explaining you, it will become very easy to you. Then very rigid concept. What are those? Non-car data, car data. If you read a pure NCRT level, and Telugu Academy level, it is more than sufficient. I don't want to explain which has to cover, which you have to leave, because friends, in the animal kingdom there is nothing to leave, because it is all interconnected. That's why I encourage you to read the complete car data and complete non-car data, and mostly we have made in the form of a tables. That tables will help you a lot. Mostly focus on the information present on the tables. By that you can remember maximum amount of information easily. Anyway, when I am explaining you the lessons, it will be clear. So except unit 1, 2, 3, from unit 4 to 11, I will only complete 4 to 11, total 7 units. First 1, 2, 3 can be explained by the other faculty from the August. Meanwhile, I'll try to finish most of the concepts easily. Okay, this is how you have to read. Your study material is completely finished. There are total 5,000 questions are there, including all chapters. In the test series, you are going to write another 2,000 questions. In the mock test series, you are going to write another 2,000 questions. So there are total 9,000 questions you can practice. So everything is in your hand. I'll provide you good knowledge. You people has to work consistently for this. That's the only thing. Right? Clear, everyone? Clear? So in the Monday evening, I will give the study material to every one of you. Okay. Every one of you, I'll give the study material. Okay. So this is how you have to read the entire zoology. Okay. I'm requesting you, please pay attention. Take the printout of the study material of all the chapters. You can read it very easily. Okay. So friends, okay, so this is what I want you people to do it. Okay. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. See, I will include this. Srinivas, really, I'm not very sure, Srinivas. In the group, there is a sir named as Kumar. He is the very senior faculty of the general science. He is preparing for the botany. Please take the help of him. Surely he'll help. He's really kind-hearted also. Just try to ask him once. Okay. So because, I can't help something which I'm not good at. Okay. So I don't want to give any false promises. That's why. Okay. I am going to upload everything in the store also. So the people who already paid the fees, I will give the access. All the students listen. In the app, Once I publish this, you can get this. You can get like this. Every one of you, please look into this. Look into this. In the app, you can, I hope everyone is able to see the app. In the app, you can get like this. It is, there are many folders, right? Study materials, chapter wise test series, mock test series, preparation strategy videos, test schedule. So if you just click on the study material section, all the chapter wise it will show. Then click on that. Here the PDF will be uploaded. You can download. Automatically it will download in your mobile. Automatically. Then if you click on the chapter wise test series, if you click on the chapter wise, when that particular date comes, automatically test series will appear over there. You can practice it. Then similarly, when you click on the mock test series, automatically it will show when we publish it. But if you people feel very difficulty in downloading the study material from the app, no need to worry. I will send via mail or WhatsApp. Okay. Okay, friends. That's all for now. So we will continue from the Monday. Okay. Okay, that's all for now. I'll see you in the next class. Okay, I think Sirisha, you are attending. This is the only first class you have attended, right? I hope you are watching through the recorded. Okay, done. Okay, I will see you in the Monday evening 5 p.m. My Monday evening 5 p.m. You will all get the study material. You can take the printouts. Okay, thank you all. Thank you so much. Thank you.